Yo, yo, yo. Salute to the brothers, man. We back in the spirit again. I know y'all like, damn, they did it again. Yes, sir. We did it again. All praise to the Most High, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, man. We running it back with another live stream today. This is the main live. Hopefully some brothers didn't get, their panties in a bunch earlier. It's all in the spirit. But today we going to break down, Ephraim will not be jealous of Judah and Judah will not vex Ephraim, man. We here to talk about, how, let's be real, a lot of Northern Kingdom brothers and Southern Kingdom brothers got beef because Southern Kingdom brothers don't want to accept Ephraim. And a lot of Northern Kingdom brothers is jealous of the Southern Kingdom. It is what it is. So we're going to fully break down why that is, what's the solution, and how we can get through so that way the nation of Israel can be properly restored. But first and foremost, got to give our glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Y'all brothers got opening statements.
Yeah, brother, just want to give all the praises, infinite glory, and the honor unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Kakwadash. Lord, what is lessons edifying for the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. And we running in the back. Let's get into it. It should be a good one.
Yeah, no intro today. Let's just get into it.
Anybody else?
Just want to say all praise to the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Let's get into it, man.
Yeah, man. All praise to the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. May we continue to receive this daily bread, mental, physical, and spiritual. Through our transgressions, may we continue to receive the knowledge and the blessings from the Most High. And yeah, man, let's get controversial, I guess. Let's start beefing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, long story short, man, we was going through the scriptures. Y'all know exactly what verse it is. Is it Isaiah 11:4?
I think it's Isaiah 11 and 13, but I'll go ahead and get
13. Yeah, I got it right here.
You got it? All right, man.
Yeah, so this is the book of Isaiah 11 and 13. This is the precept I'm talking about. It says, the envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. But they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines toward the west, and they shall spoil them of the east together. They shall lay their hand upon Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon shall obey them. And the Lord shall utterly destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea. With his mighty wind shall he shake his hand over the river, and shall smite it in the seven streams, and make men go over dry shod. And there shall be a highway for the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, like as it was to Israel in the day that he came out of the land of Egypt. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring out the precept, salute to Akram to Alistair, salute, bro, is because, let's just be honest, that day has not come yet. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to come until Yahweh Shah returns. And, because let's be honest, we're a nation without a king. And what happens when you don't have a king, when you don't have the leading shepherd? The sheep will scatter. The sheep will be divided. The sheep will, we had a live stream in regards to the camps earlier, in regards to how brothers had different opinions. But when Yahweh Shah returns, the force of knowledge and understanding that all of us brothers get this wisdom from, there won't be no more fucking division, man. Now, just from y'all brothers' personal experiences, do y'all see the enmity between the Southern and the Northern Kingdom?
Absolutely. It's most definitely there. You got a lot of Southern Kingdom that want to say the Northern Kingdom is. I done heard all kinds of crazy shit. I done heard the Northern Kingdom is Hamites, which I don't know how you even get that shit. I done heard the Northern Kingdom is Hamites. I done heard that, why the only reason you want to accept the Northern Kingdom is because you want to have Latina women. I done heard that doctrine. I done heard the Northern Kingdom, they're all Spaniards. I done heard that right there. You got a lot of bugged out doctrines going out there. So the hate from the Southern Kingdom, definitely is there. Just speaking on the Southern Kingdom first, the hate from the envy or the vexing from the Southern Kingdom towards the Northern Kingdom is really there. A lot of Southern Kingdom just don't want to accept a lot of Northern Kingdom brothers because of their looks, because of their outward appearance and things of that nature, which you're not being spiritual, and you're showing that you really don't understand the scriptures when you have that mindset.
Exactly, and it's pride too, because a lot of brothers say you're not black, not understanding one, not all quote unquote black people are Israelites.
Exactly, and also fact. Just from a black standpoint too, a lot of Southern Kingdom like to talk about a lot of Southern Kingdom who vexes the Northern Kingdom. They always say, well, black Hebrew Israelites, we're black Jews. You should never utter that shit in your damn life. Why the fuck would you want to be a black Hebrew Israelite? You know what black means? Black means death and destruction. Black is synonymous with dissemination and death and You know,
Nothing.
and nothing, just nothing. It's just everything.
You don't exist.
All negative connotations.
And
Exactly,
it's
not
also a
existing.
term to not mock you as well, because just for you to add the title black to it, what's that saying? You're not really a Hebrew Israelite. You're not really what you say you are. You're a black version. That's why, like, you know, back in the day, they had the Nation of Islam. On TV, they'd be called the black Muslims.
Black
Why?
Muslims,
Because they're not real Muslims. That's the whole point. So when you call yourself a black Hebrew Israelite, you're saying you're a fake Hebrew Israelite, aka the real Israelites are white people. That's the dichotomy when you say that shit.
Exactly. And you notice a lot of them, you notice a lot of so-called black Hebrew Israelites, they reject Yahweh Shai, and they reject the teachings of Paul as well. So that goes to show they don't understand the scriptures, because they reject, the scattered Israelites who were sent away and due to crossing Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai.
But to be honest, if you deny the Northern Kingdom, even if you quote unquote believe in Yahweh Shai, you don't believe in Yahweh Shai because you're not following his teachings. You're not even following the reason he came back to do what he did. So if you a brother and you say, "Oh, all praise to Yahweh, to the Most High, in the name of Yahweh Shai, believe Yahweh Shai is our Lord and Savior." I mean, if you denying the 10 lost tribes, bro, I mean, how can you really say that you believe in Yahweh Shai if you don't believe in what he did?
And that's the thing there. The point I want to make with that real quick is that a lot of these brothers, they deny a lot of these so-called black Hebrew Israelites, people who call themselves black Hebrew Israelites, a lot of these, pro-blackity black, members of your brothers of the Southern Kingdom, they show that they don't know. They show that they don't understand the scriptures because they can't look at things through a spiritual lens. They don't accept Yahweh Shai or the teachings of Paul because they can't see that Yahweh Shai comes in the volume of the book, which is why they say that Yahweh Shai is an idol. They say that they say that it's paganism and idol worship and things like that,
based on the Romans and all that nonsense. But
exactly.
And the main thing is their pride as well, because quote unquote they believe that they're of the Southern Kingdom. But you don't know that. You could be descended from the Northern Kingdom.
You don't even know that exactly. You don't know that for a fact.
Well, here's the issue, fundamental issue, that there's no way they could have read Matthew the first chapter. No way. That's number one. And then when it comes to Paul, I'm just gonna get it real quick because it's just one verse. There's no way that they could have read Romans 11:1 because what does it say?
I mean, obviously they don't. That's why they don't.
Exactly. It says literally that reading Romans 11 verse 1, I say then, has the Most High cast away his people? Mm-hmm. Certainly not. For I also am an Israelite, the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. Now, last time I checked, he's the only person in the New Testament, or really out of most of the characters that we know of in the scriptures, he's one of the only few ones that give a clear description of what his race is. So it's like Old or New Testament. So it's like, wait a minute. How could you deny the teachings of a guy who clearly says he's an Hebrew Israelite and gave his specific tribe? That doesn't make any sense. It's like, have you guys read this shit before?
And to also add, for a lot of those brothers who don't believe in the quote unquote New Testament, only the Old Testament, you're really going against the prophecies of the Old Testament as well. Exactly. I wanted to go to real prophecy earlier. I know means what we're talking about it. This is Ezekiel, the 37th chapter. I'll start at verse 15. The word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, Moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick and write upon it for Judah and for the children of Israel, his companions, that's the Southern Kingdom. Then take another stick and write upon it for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel and his companions, the Northern Kingdom, and join them one to another into one stick, and they shall become one in thine hand. And when the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, Wilt thou not show us what thou meanest by these? Say unto them, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Israel, his fellows, and I will put them with him, even with the stick of Judah, and make them one stick, and they shall be one in mine hand. And the sticks whereon thou writest shall be in thine hand before their eyes, and say unto them, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen, whether they be gone, and will gather them on every side, and bring them into their own land. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be king to them all. and there shall be no more nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms any more at all. Neither shall they defile themselves any more with their idols, nor with their detestable things, nor with any of their transgressions, but I will save them out of all their dwelling places wherein they have sinned, and will cleanse them. So shall they be my people, and I will be their God. And verse 24, and David my servant shall be king over them, and they shall have one shepherd, and they shall also walk in my judgments, and observe my statutes, and do them. I'll read verse 25 and 26 just to close. And they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto Jacob my servant, wherein your fathers have dwelt, and their children's children forever. And my servant David shall be prince forever. Moreover, I'll make a covenant of peace with them. It shall be an everlasting covenant with them, and I will place them and multiply them, and will sanctify and will set my sanctuary in the midst of them forevermore. And again, that covenant, for brothers to get that understanding, you can go to Jeremiah 31:31, Hebrews 8:8. It tells you again that he take both the tribe of the nation of Judah, the nation of Israel, write the laws within our inward parts, and that no more we need to teach or show men what to do, because we'd all know it in our hearts and our minds. So like the point that Brandon brought earlier about, no one's going to have the full understanding until Christ comes. That's the truth, because until that time happens, we're not going to have the law written in our inward parts, meaning our mind, meaning we're going to know what to do instinctually, meaning in the kingdom, when we have children, the children are going to be born just like, you know how to breathe, you drink water, you know how to, get rid of waste. That's going to be the law to you. It's going to be second nature.
It's like that. It's like a Dragon Ball Super with Goku, that Ultra Instinct. Like that's what we're gonna have. That ability to just be able to make decisions without thinking about it, like just natural movements. But just to pick off of back what you said about Ezekiel, since we're bringing that up, Revelations, the 21st chapter, is just a shortened explanation of the new kingdom that was expressed and detailed, the construction, everything in the last Ezekiel chapters 40 through 48. So I don't understand what these guys are talking about when they Old Testament only. It's like, bruh, like, are you serious? Like you clearly have not studied any of the New Testament, because it's like it's painfully clear. It might be a shortened explanation of things, but it's a clear explanation of what was detailed in the Old Testament. Like, you really need to stop, but here's what it is.
Exactly. It's pretty. I mean, when you read through the spirit, through a spiritual lens, you're able to see that very clearly. And that's the point I was making right there. A lot of Southern Kingdom pro-blackity brothers, that the lack of being able to read the scriptures through the spirit ends up manifesting itself in the flesh in the way that they're not able to read brother's spirit. They're not able to accept brother's spirits. They're not able to recognize through the spirit who's an Israelite based on their understanding of this word, based off them fitting the prophecies, them being under the curses, calling on the names of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, the spirit bearing witness with this word and things of that nature. They're not able to recognize that through the spirit. They need you to look like Wesley Snipes with a big ass afro for you to say that you're Israelite. It just ends up,
or they quote unquote need you to be able to trace your lineage back to wherever.
Exactly.
What's the big telling thing is, if you can't look at that and see through that, how are you gonna be able to see the signs the Most High gives you through the Spirit?
But and then here's my thing. I've never heard any of those Hebrew Israelites talking about trace your lineage back, because I don't think they know what the term race means. They don't understand the term race means seed, like literally, like that's it. So it's like, I've never heard of that before. Now, granted, if y'all heard of that,
when they mean like that lens, they mean be able to trace it to a black man, quote unquote.
Yeah, I've
I've
never heard them say anything like that. They just say, oh, well, all the ancient Hebrews are dark skinned, so the New Age Hebrews, they all have to be dark skinned. It's like, okay, but too bad King David wasn't. But whatever. I feel you, bro. I got you.
They have no understanding of the scriptures or the ability to see things through the spirit and ultimately show it. I mean, you got brothers out there, on the streets, Latino brothers calling the names of Halabashi Yahushua in Spanish.
I was thinking about that shit because, y'all. I mean, a lot of y'all brothers don't follow on Instagram, but y'all know who Yahweh 7 is. I know Malak does. Y'all brothers know who Yahweh 7 is?
Yeah.
Nah.
And then there's another brother, Kingdom Path 144. I mean, my bad. Kingdom is it Kingdom Path or Kingdom Vision?
It's Kingdom
I think
Path.
it's
Kingdom Vision.
Kingdom
It's
Path.
yeah, it's Kingdom Path. Kingdom Vision is Rev.
Yeah.
that's
So,
right.
I mean, let's just be real. They call them the names Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, following the law. So to all the niggas out there who saying, oh, you know, Israelites is only dark skinned, then how do they know this knowledge? How do they know this understanding?
Exactly,
And
because
it's
again,
like,
if you go to the scriptures, it lets you know that only Israel would have this understanding. That's what the spirit is. So if you see a person
Exactly.
who truly understands the word, you can't just be like, you're not an Israelite. You're going to be a slave in the kingdom.
I mean,
Why
it's
would they be a
like
slave? Because they know the word.
it's
Makes
like,
no
come on,
sense.
Most I
bro.
might set it up to where you be the slave.
It's like, come on, bro. Revelation 7-9, man. Mixed multitude. Like, just stop.
Exactly.
Please stop. Many
Exactly.
nations.
4 corners of the earth, man.
Exactly. Many
Exactly.
nations in tongues. Like, just stop, please. The
And
rest of have the same skin
tribes and,
tone.
you know, all
And a
that.
lot,
We
a
don't
lot-
even have the same skin tone. Like that, man. Whatever.
and a lot of people don't understand. You know, they a lot of people want to separate the so-called Native Americans and the so-called Latinos. They don't even have an understanding of history that the Latinos are the so-called Native Americans.
Oh,
You know,
ridiculous.
you
No,
know?
no.
Or at least
I
the
would-
ones who don't have the Spaniards as their
Exactly.
as
The ones,
their
who,
fathers.
the ones who don't come from the seed of the Spaniards, exactly. The so-called
But-
indigenous Latinos.
I would have to ask them a question. So would Blake Griffin's son be considered an Israelite?
To some of these people, no, because they have this term called a mamzer. I don't know if any of you guys heard that.
Mamzer?
A
Yeah.
mamzer.
What is that, Momser?
Was it mamzer? That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's
Or-
mamzer.
Or I've used some people use the excuse. I remember a brother talked about it. Well, they corrupted the Holy Seed line because I believe in the book of Nehemiah, the men at that time period had to give her their wives, not understanding the reason they had to remove their wives is, yes, they were foreign, but the main reason is because they were having the men follow idolatry. They were doing like these practices. That's what people forget.
Nobody understands that when it comes to the whole interracial marriage thing. Just
It's
in
why
general,
they had
it
to stay
wasn't-
away from the other women. It wasn't just stay away from them just cause.
Yeah,
Like, that's what
it was
people
their
forget.
culture. And
There's
that's the
always
thing,
a
it's
reason for
culture,
things.
man. They believed they had most of the women back then were so defiled with false deity worship that the Most High was like, y'all just stay with Israel for now.
Hey, well, real quick, because it's kind of going off like, you know, into like a free tangent. So just to explain to brothers, why is the Southern Kingdom so different in appearance from the Northern Kingdom? I mean, yeah.
I mean,
Well,
we
they
kind of explained
mixed
it earlier.
themselves up, right? Yeah.
You said what?
Like, in
They
terms of
mixed
like the
themselves.
quote unquote Native Americans, they're mixed with a lot of the Caucasian Spaniards, things like that.
No, I'm just saying, like, prophecy wise, why did that happen? Is what I'm saying.
No, yeah, because the kingdom was split and we were sold off in captivity. That's why.
I mean, RC got dipped in many different many different women. So, I mean, it'll happen. That's the best way to look at it. I mean, if
Yes, it's not something that's that deep or complex.
Yeah, it's really
Exactly.
that simple. You know,
It's
you
really
gonna have
it's really that simple. Like, it's not, you know, over time, you know, I mean, you start to look different by mixing with women of other nations. It's just what they like Hitman brought the example out of Blake Griffin and his son. Now Blake Griffin's son would have a baby with a Caucasian woman. I mean, you wouldn't be able to see no Israelite in that baby at all, but he would still be an Israelite. You just wouldn't be able to see it. But you know, you gotta be spiritual, because if his spirit were to bear witness with his word, no matter what he looks like, he will be an Israelite. So
and just from a physical standpoint, you are what your father is. So that doesn't change. Like whatever your father is, that's what you are. So
Exactly.
who cares what women really you get with at this point?
It doesn't. It really doesn't matter. But the point I wanted to bring up as well with the Latinos being the Native Americans, you know, a lot of people, you know, because
They kind of forget that.
They kind of is that they really forget. They think people group the Latinos into and just automatically group them with the Spaniards, but those are two completely different nations of people. The Spaniards are Edomites. The Latinos that have the seed line of Jacob, you know, come from the seed line, the seed of Jacob, you know, all the way back. Of the 10 tribes of the Northern Kingdom that were carried away here, that were carried away, from the homeland into Asareth. And I want to get that precept in 2nd Esdras, because it tells you about them being carried away into Asareth. or Asareth, however you want to say that.
Yeah, it's the 13th chapter. Are you already there? Or
Yeah, I'm already here.
I'll go ahead, brother. Then.
Con. So I'm gonna go to chapter 39. Verse 39, 2nd Ezra 13 and 39. And whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land at the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanessar, the king of Assyria, led away captive and carried them over the waters. And so came they into another land. But they took this counsel, among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where no mankind dwelt. So it's telling you where no mankind dwelt. What country is that? That's obviously Babylon the Great. That's obviously America, man. This place was a place where man had never dwelt in terms of like dwelling here. The man had never been here as a dwelling place. So that goes to show you that all the 10 tribes, which the Latinos are included in that, all the 10 tribes of the Northern Kingdom, those are all the quote unquote Native Americans. There's no difference between the quote unquote Native Americans and the quote unquote Latinos. It's the same people. You know what I'm saying? Now you do have mixing with the Spaniards in there. Yeah, that's true. But that's going to be noticed through the spirit, man. Like if a Latino brother, if his spirit don't bear, or if a so-called Latino, his spirit don't bear witness with his word, that nigga may be a Spaniard, man.
Either he might be 2/3 or he might just be a Spaniard.
Exactly. Or he might be a Spaniard, exactly. And it's not about what you look like in that way, because you're gonna have brothers that look like Spaniards that are actually Israelites, and you're gonna have brothers that look like quote unquote indigenous Native Americans that are gonna be Spaniards, man. So it just depends on what on where your seed goes back to. That's gonna be manifested through your spirit. Like you got people that say, well, it's only the quote unquote black Latino, the quote unquote Afro Latinos that you hear. You got that term out there, and they're the only Israelites. That's not necessarily true, because some of them may not be Israelites. You know what I'm saying? It all goes back to your spirit, man. Like that's why the scriptures say, avoid, endless genealogies and fables that minister questions rather than edifying through faith, because it's ultimately about your faith bearing your faith in your spirit. Bearing witness with this word, man. That's and your faith in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. You're not gonna have faith in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua if you're not an Israelite. It is what it is. That's why the scriptures say to just focus on the spirit and just focus on faith, because we're far removed from the time period where any of us can trace our lineage back to which son of Jacob that we come from. So don't vex your brothers. Don't if a so-called Latino or so-called Native American, which like I said, it's the same thing, really. Are bearing witness with this word, regardless if they look like a Caucasian, Spaniard Caucasian or not, they still are Israelite because of their seed line going back. You got to understand, man. There was a lot of during the 1400s, 1500s. There's a lot of mixing going on in that time period, man. The Northern Kingdom was getting their backs beat in by the Caucasian settlers. Yeah, that's true. The Caucasian settlers were coming in, and that part is because the Northern Kingdom went off, and because they were hearkening to pagan practices of child sacrifice and pagan worship and things of that nature. So that's what the Most High allowed the Caucasians, and that was just prophecy fulfilled too. Most High allowing the Caucasian settlers to come over here and beat the Northern Kingdom's backs in. But at the same time, though, you had brothers of the Northern Kingdom who were mixing with Caucasian women. It is, let's not act like that didn't happen. So you are gonna have brothers of the Northern Kingdom that look like Caucasians. It is what it is.
Exactly. And just to add on one quick point, when we're talking about Native Americans, we're not talking about the motherfuckers they show you in history books and on TV, okay? We're not talking about those Native Americans, because those quote unquote people, if like conventional science, there's quote unquote 3 distinct way they trace people's DNA. There's a Caucasoid, Mongoloid, and Negroid. The Native Americans that they show you on TV, they're not the Israelites, or white people.
A majority of them are. There are some, but a majority.
No, I'm not. Yeah, when I'm talking about in terms of exactly.
Yeah,
that goes for any demographic. That's why I want to bring up that aside. But I'm talking about in general, those people are Mongoloid, meaning they're descended from people from the Far East.
Right. I just want to respond to Jalen M. Dixon's comment about what is it? But if they look like another nation and their forefather goes back to a Hebrew, they're of the nation, but after so many generations, they can be mixed out.
That's not true.
The
That's not true.
No.
The only way that
He's
can
talking
happen.
about he's talking about the look, their appearance, bro.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
if you want to say physically, maybe, but not. The only way that they can be spiritually
This
mixed
is
out
what
is
he's
if.
talking about because he clarified it with this comment.
Okay, let me see.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's why I meant about the
was just gonna say
Mongoloids.
the
That's
only
why.
way you can be.
Because I asked the question, how did that happen? I mean, I was asking a rhetorical question, but I mean, he was answering that question that I asked earlier.
Oh, okay. Because like the only way, just to reiterate what he's saying, the only way you can really be mixed out is like if an Israelite woman gets with a man of another nation, because obviously your nation is defined by your father. So once again, it all goes back to the basic point of you are what your father is. So as long as your father is an Israelite, you're an Israelite just as much as anyone else is. So you're not mixed out just because you get with an Edomite woman or a Hamite woman. No,
You your daddy's son, nigga.
Your
Exactly.
father's an Israelite, you're an Israelite. You're good.
Exactly. The scriptures even tell you that in the book of Numbers, how they numbered the camps according to the house of their fathers. Also, it tells you in the book of First Chronicles that Moses' sons were named and numbered to the tribe of Levi, man. But we know Moses, his wife he had a Midianite wife and he had a Cushite wife, man.
Mm-hmm.
The Moses didn't even have a wife of the nation of Israel, man.
But I already know I know some idiots have always tried to use like Genesis 3:15, where it talks about the man's seed and the woman's seed. Bruh, that's not what that's talking about. It's talking about that's basically a prophecy of Rebecca's birth. That's basically what that's in reference to.
I mean, let's be real, bro. If that was the case, then how come the scriptures never list a woman when it comes to lineage? Why is
basically they never? The only now I'll say the only time that they list like a lineage per se was I believe it was
they mention him being the wife of his man, but they don't go through the
they don't really go through it. But that's what.
Well, other than
hey, real quick, this is an aside. So for you niggas who say for you to be an Israelite has to be the father and the mother, you off, nigga.
That's way off. That's way off. That's way off.
Saying. For brothers
they
like,
worship
if
women,
they marry
run.
For a brother who says, "Oh, they married a woman of another race, like they corrupted the seed line, that child's not an Israelite," that's not true. I mean, Solomon's mother was not an Israelite, and he was king.
Exactly.
They worship women.
Niggas just don't read the scriptures, bro.
They worship women. Run.
Khan. I mean, a lot of that stems from, like I'll be saying, there's three types of Israelites. You got Israelites that are in the truth to glorify the Most High, which is the only reason you should be in the truth. You got Israelites who are in the truth to glorify themselves, and you got a lot of that in Israel as well. You also got Israelites who are in the truth to glorify the black woman. And you see a lot. You see a lot of that shit with these blackity black only Israelites. That's why I was saying earlier that you got that doctrine out there that Israelites, like so-called black men, only accept or only graft in, or not even grafted because they're already grafted in. That was done in the Roman Empire. They're already grafted in. But but what I'm saying is that they basically say that they only accept them as Israelites and accept them as brothers, because you want to get with Latino women. That bullshit. That's okay. Simple. That's silly shit, man.
Or if you're a man and you want to be with other race women, why do you hate the Israelite woman so much? Dumb shit like that.
Have you not taken a look at her? I'm just playing.
But facts though. But I want to get back in this precept of 2 Esdras 13, just continuing on. I want to go to verse 42, continuing on. I'm gonna go down to 50.
I just want to make one quick joke about that. I mean, have you seen these Israelite women? They're sucking mannequin dick. Like, come on, bro.
I mean, facts. Hey, it is what. I mean, come on, bro. We got that's. I mean, how can you blame a brother?
You even want to fuck with an Israelite bitch right now?
I mean, honestly, can you blame a brother for wanting to get with a bitch of another nation? Can you really blame that brother?
They sucking dick in Target. Run.
Exactly. But continuing on, this is 2 Esdras 13 and 42, that they might keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land, and they entered into. And you even got accounts. I'm gonna go to I'm gonna just real quick, as just a quick aside. This is a book called The Lost Tribes and Promised Lands by, I don't know, some of you brothers may have heard of that book, by Ronald Sanders. There's an account in this book where it goes into some of the accounts of Columbus. And it says, it's basically going into how, let me just pull it up real quick. It's basically going into how the Hebrew Israelites would keep certain laws, or the native Indians would keep certain laws of the Most High in terms of fringes and Passovers and things like that. Let me go to it real quick.
One thing I don't know if it's this book or another mention how Columbus had to bring a Hebrew interpreter with him, and he was able to speak with the people.
I remember. I heard that from somewhere. I can't remember though.
I cannot recall where I heard that from though. That's why I was mentioned in that book.
And he used the Apocrypha to get there too, right?
Yeah, because he did it based on what we're reading right now. Basically.
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad that you guys mentioned that, because I'm gonna bring out both of those. Or I'm gonna bring out one of the other one. I'm not sure if that's in this book, but I'm gonna bring out that one about them using Second Esdras. But this is from the book. Actually, this one is from the book History of American Indians by James Adair, and it says it says their festivals, fasts, and religious rites have also a great resemblance to those of the Hebrews. This is talking about the American Indians. It will be necessary here to take a short view of the principal Jewish feasts. They kept every year a sacred feast called the Passover in memory of their deliverance from Egyptian bondage. 7 days were appointed. To these they added an eighth through a religious principle, a preparatory to clear their houses of all leaven and to fix their minds before they enter on that religious duty. The name of this festival is derived from a word which signifies to pass over, because when the destroying angel flew through the Egyptian houses, which was Yahushua, and killed their firstborn, he passed over those of the Israelites, the tops of whose doors were stained with the blood of the Lamb. So this is showing you right here in the book History of the American Indians by James Adair, that the American Indians were keeping the Passover, man. So look, going into Second Esdras 13 and 42, that they might keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land. And that's why the Northern Kingdom was outcasted, But in the 1400s, the Northern Kingdom, the 14 and 1500s, the Northern Kingdom was keeping. Actually, prior to that, the Northern Kingdom was keeping the statute. You can read some accounts online of the Northern Kingdom wearing fringes on their garments, fringes on their clothes, and things like that. You can even go into some there's a place in Mississippi. I forget what it's called, but there's a place in Mississippi where you can go to that shows Hebrew writing on tablets and stones, man. I forget what it's a Native Indian reservation you can go to in Mississippi. No, actually, no, it's not. It's in Arizona. It's a Native Indian reservation in Arizona you can go to, where you can look and see on stones and on tablets where they have, or on stones mainly, where they have Hebrew word and Hebrew writing and things of that nature. So to say the Native Indians want keeping some Hebrew customs, that's just wrong, brother. It's in the Bible. It's in different accounts from different books and things of that nature. But I want to go to that point that brothers were talking about with Second Esdras as well, with Columbus. And this is in the book right here, Lost Tribes and Promised Lands by Ronald Sanders. This is account from the book. A striking element in Columbus's geographical religiosity in his intent and abiding interest in the second book of Esdras. The two apocryphal books of Esdras support the additional writings by the Old Testament Ezra, but by the second or fourth book is a piece of full-fledged Hellenistic apocalyptic writing that was often regarded with suspicion by the church and just as often embraced by the Orthodox. Augustine had given guarded approval to Esdras' prophetic claims, and much was always to be made of this by the latter's defenders, including Columbus. In the marginal notes of Columbus' copy of De Ali is a relatively lengthy discourse on Second Esdras, the 6th chapter, which reads, and it goes into that. But Columbus was accounting, from Second Esdras, man. Which goes to show that he was using these accounts to recognize who the real Hebrews were by some of the works that they were keeping, by some of the statutes and commands they were keeping, from that was passed down through tradition and culture of old, man. Which is proven right here that they may keep their statute, but they never kept in their own land. But I'm gonna continue. And they enter into Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river. For the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and the half in the same region is called Arsareth. So when you go into the word Arsareth, you go into the word Arsareth. I forget exactly what that word means, but it goes into America. Let me just pull it up real quick.
And real quick, is First Ezra in the Apocrypha the same as Ezra in the Bible?
Ezra, yeah, it's Ezra. But like,
Ezra.
I read that.
I pulled up a little description of Azareth.
Okay,
This is from the Jewish Encyclopedia. The name of the land beyond the great river, far away from the habitation of man, in which the 10 tribes of Israel will dwell, observing the laws of Moses until the time of the restoration, according to what we read in 2nd Ezra chapter 13, verse 45. Columbus identified America with this land. The name has been suggested by Schiller Cisney is taken from Deuteronomy 20. I hate Roman numerals. 29, 24, and 27. Because they forsook the covenant of the Lord and went and served other gods. The Lord ruled them out of their land and cast them into another land. This passage is made to refer in the Mishnash, whatever that shit is, to the 10 tribes. And then it says compare the Tosif, the Sand, the Bob, the blah, blah, blah. Like I said, it'd be better for y'all brothers to look this up too. It's from the Jewish Encyclopedia because I just don't know how to read a lot of these terms. But continue on. But different opinions are expressed by Akiba and Eliezer. The traditions are rather confused as to names, whether the 10 tribes may be expected to return or not, since this point is not determined in the scriptural verse. One of them takes the words as this day to signify that as the day goeth, but doth not return, so shall they who are cast off not return. The other explains the words as the day begins with the darkness of night, but turns into day, so shall the darkness of their banishment be turned into bright daylight. The fourth book of Ezra took the later view, which is adopted also by R. Judah Ha-Nasi in the Tosfeta, who refers to Isaiah, the 27 chapter, verse 13. But for y'all brothers, just look it up. It's the Jewish Encyclopedia, and then type up the term of Azareth.
Con, appreciate you bringing that out, brother. But that just goes to show you that Azareth right there is talking about is basically going into a land where man never dwelt, and that's going into America right there, man. Like I said, I forget exactly what that word exactly means, but the brother brought out basically the understanding of what Azareth is, so I appreciate that. But continue back into the precept. Verse 46, then dwelt they there until the latter time, and now when they shall begin to come. So basically it's prophesied that the northern kingdom would still be in America until the end times, man, to go back into the homeland, man. Of course, we all know how that's going to come through the chariots and Yahushua destroying this place and things like that. But it's prophesied right there that the northern kingdom is gonna be in that place in Azareth, that place where mankind never dwelt until the end time. So my question is, who was those people? If it's not the so-called Native Americans, then who is it? And like D-Ben was bringing out earlier, the real Native Americans, the quote unquote indigenous people, things of that nature. And of course, some of the Mongolites are their seed line does go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob as well. But just from overall perspective, the real quote unquote indigenous people and things of that nature, which are not all Negroid, by the way, but like I said, a mix between the two. You got mixing and things like that. So it's all about the seed line at the end of the day. But basically going into 46, this is prophesying that until that latter time, being the end days, that the northern kingdom will remain in America. Like I said, so who was that referring to? That's got to be the Native Americans, which got to show that they're Israelites. 47, the highest shall stay the springs of the stream again, that they may go through. Therefore sawest thou the multitude with peace, but those that be left behind of thy people are they that are found within my borders. Now when he destroyed the multitude of the nations that are gathered together, he shall defend his people that remain. And this part is still coming to pass, man. When Yahweh Shai is coming back to destroy this earth, I'm saying? He the people that remain, I'm saying? The brothers of the northern kingdom that endure unto the end, I'm saying? Yahweh Shai is going to fight for it, man. Yahweh Shai is going be on the scene, mowing these people down, things of that nature, and the brothers that endure to the end are going to be defended in that day, are going to be preserved in that day, like the scriptures say, how the Most High would then choose Israel, and like it says in the book of Isaiah as well, through great mercies I will gather thee, things of that nature. And that's not just the southern kingdom, but that's all Israel, even though Isaiah is prophesying about
let's keep it a beam. A lot of brothers who quote unquote look like Edomites or who look like stand yards and all the shit, them niggas got more faith than a lot of you blackety black ass Israelite niggas, man.
Exactly.
And it's all about the spirit, man. That's why it's funny, like brothers would, to be like, I'm black, I'm the Southern Kingdom, I'm this tribe, I'm that tribe. At the end of the day, it's about the spirit bearing witness. You can tell that you're an Israelite, but don't be too presumptuous, because at the end of the day, there's a reason why I believe in Revelations they have the 12 gates, and the angels have to guide us to those gates. Because we're not going to know what tribes we are. The angels going to let us know, look, this is what tribe you're from. This is what tribe you're from. This is what tribe you're from. Enter these gates. And like, that's why I brought it even ourselves, because, even though we're quote unquote black and, based in history, and you understand like the lineage based on like the black Europeans, how they were quote unquote from Judah, things like that. At the end of the day, the seed line is based on your father. So for any of us, our quote unquote ancestral mother could have been a quote unquote Jew, had a child with a native man, and lo and behold, we're Northern Kingdom.
Exactly.
That.
Hey, but let me ask y'all a little theory question then, because we like D-Ben just brought up about the angels and the gates. Going to Revelation 7, right? How the 144,000 gonna be called up first. So wouldn't that mean that they would have to know earlier those 144,000 men what their tribe is, or would they just?
Well, I mean, it doesn't say.
I'm just theorizing. I'm not.
I feel, but like it mentions about the gates. That's when I believe is when New Jerusalem comes down.
Yeah.
That's when the New Jerusalem comes down.
Yeah, because that's what that's for the the 1/3, the multitude. I'm talking about the 144,000 men. Would they have to know earlier than them, since they're going to be called up first?
I'm not 100% sure, but I do know the Most High's name will be in their foreheads. That's the only thing that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I'm just theorizing.
You'll probably know the 144,000, but I don't think it's going to fully tell you, because I think that's probably going to be reserved for when the kingdom is established. Just my theory, personally.
Because it gets real specific between verses 5 and 8, what tribes they're going to be called from. That's why I asked. Just a theory. I'm not making it emphatic. I'm not really asking for an emphatic answer. I just want to see what y'all.
No, I got you. It's just a thought you had.
Yeah.
Hey, but
I want.
Yeah, go make your y'all brothers make y'all final points, and I'm gonna switch it to the other half of the live.
Con, I wanted to go into another account in a book called Mysteries of Ancient South America as well, because you got brothers of the Northern Kingdom in South America as well, and a lot of people think that that's all, especially when you get into your Colombias and your Venezuelas and things like that. They think that's all.
By the way, got the sexiest women on earth, nigga. Not even a close.
They're fine as hell, bro. I'm gonna be real. Them Colombian women fine as hell, bro, and Brazilian. But that's a whole nother topic, bro.
Oh my god.
Brazil. Hey, look, I pray to the Most High willing, I'll be in the kingdom.
They be bad, bro.
I give me,
bro.
I ain't gonna lie.
I knew a chick in college, bro. I never got the clothes.
But hey, to Panama too, nigga, bro. But anyways, bro, go ahead, bro.
All right, bro. This is an account from the book Mysteries of Ancient South America, basically going to documented facts on the place where civilization, really began, in America and the origin of it. So this is an account from there. It says the American Aborigines were never idolaters nor violated the second commandment in worshiping the incomprehensible, omnipresent, divine essence after the manner described by the popish historians of Peru and Mexico, but that the greatest part of the civil and religious system is a strong old picture of the Israelites-ish, much less defaced than might be reasonably expected from the circumstance of the time and place. The reason why I wanted to bring that out right there is because when it's like it says in 2 Ezra 13 and 42, the Northern Kingdom was delivered to America to keep the statutes, laws, and commandments of the Most High. Like it says in this book right here. that the American Aborigines were never idolaters nor violated the second commandment. Now, of course, they eventually ended up doing that, but I'm just saying the reason I want to bring this out, because the point of the Aboriginal Americans, which goes to show that they are fitting this prophecy in 2nd Esdras 13 and 42. The point was for the Aboriginal Americans to keep the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High, like it says, that they might keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. In the homeland, the Northern Kingdom didn't keep the law, statutes, and commandments. So the point was to send them to America or Asareth, to keep the ways of the Most High. But of course, in Northern Kingdom ended up falling into idolatry anyway. But the point was that they were sent here to keep that. So I want to get that from this book. And like it says, it worship now this book says Israelitish, basically going into the Most High, Israelitish customs, the true image and the true power of the Most High, and truth and sincerity, which what the Northern Kingdom was worshiping. Now I want to go into another account in this book as well, because it goes into certain laws with fringes and things like that. It's talking about Aboriginals. So I'm gonna go into, it says the Aboriginals of South America are of Hebrew origin and the descendants of the 10 tribes. Their belief is a symbolical purification of water the inhabitants of the Yukon gave to water which they were baptized. And I'm gonna go into this part right here. But just going to I wanted to read that again once again to show you that it's outside sources that prove and that understanding that know. For a lot of you Jakes who are extremely prideful, I mean, you got so much information out there through various books proving that the Northern Kingdom fit the prophecies in 2nd Esdras, the 13th chapter, from 39 down to 50, showing and proving that through various outlets of resource information and knowledge. So for you to not recognize that is just your own pride, which ultimately is going to destroy you, because you're not going to be brotherly. But at the end of the day, I'm going to continue. This is going into the account as well in the book. Once again, this is in the book Mysteries of Ancient South America. It says the fringes which the Mexicans wore fastened to their garments. So fastened to the fringes which fastened to their garments. Now I'm gonna get a precept in the book of Numbers. This is Numbers 15 and 38. I'm gonna start at 37. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, "Speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put on the fringe of the borders and the ribbon of blue." So didn't we read earlier within this book right here, this book once again called Mysteries of Ancient South America, that the Northern Kingdom was sent here, and 2nd Esdras 13 and 42, the Northern Kingdom was sent here to keep the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High. So it's going into in this book as well, basically saying how the fringes were being worn on the garments of the Northern Kingdom of the Aboriginal Americans, man. The Aboriginal Americans were wearing fringes on their garments. So what other nation is doing that, man? This is proving that they're the Israelites, man. So all that pride that Jake got, all that, man, they're not dark skinned with an afro, and so they're not our people, man. They speak Spanish, man. Or man, they got their own businesses and all that bullshit.
I mean, let's be real. That nigga Alomel speak French. Is he not an Israelite?
Exactly.
Another excuse they use. They say the curse is where we won't have our own country or our own currency, or something like that.
That shit's ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's like, bro, what about the Caribbean, West Africa? And it's like, come on, man, y'all tripping.
The doctrines that they have they're not applicable across the board, bro. You know what I'm saying? They're not 100% concrete through facts, evidence, and backed by scripture.
Thank you.
You know
it's not. It's half-assing. Like it's just
it's all out of pride and emotion, nigga. Niggas be arguing like dishes.
Yeah, they just be talking about the slave trade. That's what it all results back to. It's like, come on, bro. Even you got the slave trade thing completely wrong.
I mean, yeah,
like,
exactly. With
stop.
the slave trade, what people don't realize, majority of the slaves from the west coast of Africa didn't even come to America. They went to South America.
They went to the
which is why outside of the country of Africa, Brazil has the highest population of so-called black people outside of the countries of Africa in the world.
Yeah,
and they do a lot of, and them wicked motherfuckers be doing a lot of crazy shit down in South America too. But you don't. That's why you don't hear about it. Like you hear about it in America, kind of, so to speak. But in South America, most people don't know about the crazy shit they be doing down there with the kids, kidnapping them, hiding them underground, all that crazy ass shit, bro.
Niggas be going crazy in them favelas, bro.
Yeah, they
it's
be going
Yeah,
crazy
oh,
down there in
Rick,
South America.
nigga, y'all niggas seen Fast? Hey, do y'all think that nigga what's that nigga name?
Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel is a Israelite.
I mean, you see a picture when he was younger. He looks like a really light-skinned black
What's his
boy.
father?
Yeah.
Bro, I think he might be. Bro, I seen a video of him breakdancing at when he was a kid, bro. That nigga was killing it.
I wouldn't look past it.
Hey,
Yeah,
well,
it wouldn't shock me at
I
all,
ain't gonna
bro.
go off of niggas dancing though, but because I remember
Yeah, I gotta be
some
moving more
niggas at
sensitive than
GMS say
that,
because these two whites was dancing, them niggas was jank.
Yeah, bro.
You can't say that 100%. Yeah, you
Yeah,
can't do that.
I can't go off the dancing, but just off his personality and just where he's from and
No,
shit. Like, you
but
know.
Yeah, he does have
I
a
see
cool personality though.
The reason I lean towards it, he had woolly hair. It looked like when
when you see when he's a little kid, he looks like a very like light-skinned black kid, basically.
And that's crazy. He went bald from birth because I ain't never seen a picture with him.
I ain't never seen that either, bro. I ain't never seen that either,
He has blonde curly hair.
Damn,
really?
that nigga had hair at one point.
You thought that nigga just came out the womb
Came out
bald?
the womb.
I thought he
mean,
like,
to be honest,
Michael
only white babies come out the womb bald, nigga. Niggas come out there. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, but
I've never seen a picture with him. I thought
real quick on the side, just because Swin said what he said, I'm gonna real quick. Let's address what this brother was saying. I was looking through the precepts, and in regards to this, what he's talking about is three different accounts of the same scripture. This is Matthew 22 and 30. It says, "For in the resurrection, they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but are as the angels of the Most High in heaven." So I think he's asking in regards to these scriptures, because they all say the same thing, that when the kingdom is established, that we won't marry with women. What's
that's talking about the spirit world right there, brother. That's not talking about the actual kingdom. Let me go to the precept real quick and get that, because that's talking about the spirit world in terms of marrying and giving in marriage. Because when you're in the spirit world, your body is likened to an angel. Angels don't have sex. Angels are ascetic beings, and that's the same way we are when we're in the spirit world. You know, when we die and things like that. But let me go to the account. I'm gonna go to the one in Luke.
That makes sense. I thought he was referring to more like customs, like today, like how marriage is bullshit. I thought he was like referring to.
Oh,
that.
I see. Well,
that makes sense.
I see what
yours makes more sense.
I'm gonna get Luke. Actually, let me pull it up right here. This is Luke 20, and I'm gonna start at 33.
Yeah, because before he goes in, basically, the Pharisees, they were trying to hustle Christ. They're just like, well, if this person marries this woman, then they die, and then he dies, and then this person dies, and then who's she going to marry? That's basically what they try to hustle him. But
Levi priest.
Christ had a lot of patience to deal with them fucking Pharisees.
hey man, we talked about them. We talked about this when it was talking about the Levi's personality trait in Genesis 49, how he's quick to anger. I don't know. That might be kind of like a prophetic way to describe a lot of them priests. A lot of them priests were Levites and how angry they were and what led to them jealousy and shit. So I don't know. We might be onto something here.
I mean, it's just funny, bro. I mean, Christ pulled the disciples to the side. He's like, man, fuck these niggas, man.
I'm so goddamn jealous.
They some jealous hoes.
That's all right. He's mad over what?
Yeah, but go ahead, Swin.
I'm gonna go into the precept. I'm gonna start at I'm gonna start at verse 28. Saying, Master Moses wrote unto us, if any man's brother die having a wife, and he die without children, that his brother should take his wife and raise up seed unto his brother. You know, of course, that's going according to the law. If the brother, died, the brother, if one brother died, he had a wife. Another brother had to impregnate his woman to keep the seed alive, because of course women don't have seed. To cut you. You simp Israelites. But continuing on. It's had to throw that in there. Continuing on. If any man's brother die having a wife, and he die without children, that his brother should take his wife and raise up seed unto his brother. There were therefore 7 brethren, and the first took a wife and died without children, and the second took her to wife, and he died childless, and the third took her, and in like manner the 7 also, and they left no children and died. Last of all, the woman died also. Therefore, in the resurrection, whose wife of them is she? For 7 had her a wife, and Yahushua answering said unto them, basically, like D-Ben was saying, basically the Pharisees were trying to hustle Christ. They was trying to, they was trying to trap him in with using the law and things like
some
that.
pseudo babble bullshit.
Exactly. That's all that shit was. They were making no sense. And Yahushua, cut him down though. But this is verse 34. And Yahushua answering said unto them, the children of this world marry and are given in marriage. So the children of this world, basically the present world that you're in, like the children on the earth, are married and given in marriage. Of course, because on earth you marry, you're given in marriage. Like the men are marrying women, the women are given in marriage, to said man. That's how you keep life going on in the world. But verse 35, but they which shall be accounted worthy to obtain that world and the resurrection from the dead, neither marry nor are given in marriage. So this is talking right here. This is talking about. I'm gonna get 36 too to bring it on home. Neither can they die anymore, for they are equal unto the angels, and are the children of the Most High, being the children of the resurrection. Now that the dead are raised, even Moses showed at the bush when he called the Lord the power of Abraham, the power of Isaac, the power of Jacob, for he is the God of the dead. For he is not not a God of the dead, but of the living. For all live unto him. So when you go into verse 35 to 36, you can see that verse 35 is confirmed in verse 36, and this is talking about the spirit world, because it says, neither can they die anymore, for they are equal unto angels. So when it says right here, but they which shall be accounted worthy to obtain that world and the resurrection from the dead, neither marry nor are given in marriage. It's basically, when you read verse 36, it's detailing that this right here is talking about when you die and you're in the spirit world. When you die, you're in the spirit world. You're not married or given in marriage anymore, because your body's likened unto an angel. You're an ascetic at that point in time, and you don't need to feed the flesh. You're in the spirit world. When you're completely spirit, you don't have any flesh to feed. Marriage and giving in marriage is a fleshly act. It's a beautiful act, but it's a fleshly act at the end of the day. Angels don't partake in fleshly acts. Angels don't eat. Angels don't need to eat. Angels don't need to drink water. Angels don't need to have sex. None of those fleshly urges and desires that we have as humans in the world. Like it says in verse 34, the children of this world marry and are given in marriage, because that's a fleshly desire that men and women have in the world. But when you die, you go into the spirit world, like it says in verse 36, neither can they die anymore, because you're already dead. You're not going to die anymore. You're already dead at that point in time, which is proven that this is talking about the spirit world, because it says neither can they die anymore, because you physically have left, and now your body's in the spirit. Now your soul, your spirit is in the spiritual realm. Neither can they die anymore, for they are equal to the angels, and are the children of the Most High, being the children of the resurrection. Basically, a child of the Most High is a child of the resurrection, because when the day of judgment comes, the word let's break down the word resurrection. The word erect means to stand, and the word res means to rise and to stand up. So that's basically going into, when the day of judgment comes, when Yahushua returns, all the dead that people that died are going to rise up during that resurrection right there. So when it says the children, so while they're in the spirit world, they're no longer marrying or giving in marriage or having sex or things of that nature, no longer eating and drinking and all that, because your body is dead. You don't have no flesh to feed no more. You're in the spirit world. But you are, because you're a child of the Most High, you're a child of the resurrection, meaning, you'll rise up to, get judged, and you're going to get judged when that time of judgment comes. You know what I'm saying? So all that's just talking about the spiritual world. That's not talking about on earth. I hope that made sense.
Plus, to add on, to be honest, I was trying to find that precept. I could not remember for the life of me. It even tells you during the end days that when we rule over our enemies, they'll see our children and know who we are. They'll fear our children as well. And there's other precepts that let you know that there's going to be more people to come, because we're going to be a nation. You know what I'm saying? Ruling in righteousness, similar to how when Adam was around, he had the quote unquote spiritual body. He was immortal, but he was still supposed to have sons after him.
I'm gonna get a precept to prove that. This is the book of Isaiah, the 60th chapter, and the 21st verse, going into that kingdom talk like D-Ben was bringing in.
There it was, man.
Oh, that's the one. That's the one you was looking for.
Which verse? Because
Isaiah 60 and 21 through 22.
Yeah, that's it right there. There we go. The little one shall become a thousand. Yep, there you go.
All right, Con, I'll go ahead and get it. This is Isaiah 60 and 21. Thy people also shall be all righteous. They shall inherit the land forever. And thy people is going to the children of God, the children of the Most High God, which are the children of are the children of the light, and the ones who are going to inherit the kingdom when in the time of the resurrection, man. So, but during the time being, when you're dead, your body is likened to an angel to await that resurrection. And during that time period, you're no longer married and given in marriage and things like that. Because, like I said, in the scriptures say your body's likened to an angel at that point in time. But continuing on, thy people shall be all righteous; they shall inherit the land forever. The branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified. A little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. I, the Lord, will hasten it in this time. So in the kingdom, man, we're gonna have plenty of seed, man. We're gonna be dropping seed left and right in the kingdom, man. Brothers gonna have multiple wives. Brothers gonna,
Hey, look, bro, I expect you to impregnate 2 women a day since you want 700 wives and shit.
Who said 700?
Oh yeah, 5,000, nigga.
Yeah, you crazy.
Hey, but I think big, nigga. Like in the kingdom, man, we gonna have so much more. We gonna have so much more brain power, bro. Like I think big, bro. Like we gonna have so much more capability to do things like that we can't do on this side. Of course, you can't have 700 wives. Even if you have the resource, you can't do that on this side. You're not even gonna be remember all your wives' names. But in the kingdom, but I'm saying, but in the kingdom, bro, we're gonna be on a much higher level. Our brain capacity is gonna be moving, running much more. We're gonna have more vitality. We'll be running much more smoother and have much more brain capacity and power and ability to remember and things of that nature, man. Man, you could remember 2 million women if you wanted to, man. Hey, and I remember we talked about this last time. Anthony Monegro was on the same time as me.
Yeah,
and shout out Anthony Monegro, man.
Nigga say I'm gonna have millions.
Hey, he on the same time, brother.
Ain't gonna be that much women, brother. I'm sorry.
Amen.
Krim, he can't impregnate the cocaine, my nigga. He can't impregnate.
Only they can get, we can still do our thing, you know what I'm saying? But we the heathen and concubines, we gonna still do our thing.
You know what it's probably gonna be? The Most High, when he put his laws in his inward parts, he gonna make it to where you can't ejaculate in a white bitch. Yeah, honest, bro.
I mean, hey, but
let's be real, because all STDs gonna be gone at that time.
But hey, man, we let the book of Enoch tell it. We already angels, so
Shut up, nigga.
Go ahead.
Hey, nah. The fallen angels is the fallen angels is the UFOs.
I know.
I'm gonna leave this stream right now. If I hear Enoch or Jasher, I'm gonna leave, nigga.
Yeah, bro. I swear to God,
you don't want no giants.
Shut up, nigga.
I hadn't heard Enoch and Jasher in so long, bro. God.
It's been a minute.
Once the nigga left the stream, once the nigga left the Discord, all that shit went away, nigga. Following you and shit, Mary Magdalene.
Oh well,
Hey, did y'all hear about that one nigga who was reading 7 Maccabees, nigga?
Oh, yeah.
What?
No, I'm just fucking with you. I was
gonna say, nigga. I don't know about 34 Maccabees.
Keep making up
Maccabees. At 4 Maccabees.
Yeah, I don't know.
We need to look up the Gospel of Judas. That shit.
I think I remember seeing Digital mentioning that shit before, bro. The Gospel of Judas.
Hey, them niggas, bro. But get back to
the Gospel of Judas the Traitor.
Yeah.
Hold on, Nephilim.
Hey, but look, bro. Getting back to the point of the live stream, I said it was a 2-part series because I mean, Ephraim, the Northern Kingdom, they don't. It's not like their sins is washed away. I mean, they be doing shit to the Southern Kingdom. So the twofold part of what we was gonna talk about, going back to Isaiah 11. Verse 13.
Oh, my fault, bro.
What's up?
Just real quick. I did want to read a little bit more in that book before we go. In the book Mysteries of Ancient South America. I just want to read a little bit more in that book, just proving the lineage of the Hebrew Israelites being the Native Americans. I'm gonna start at some top again. The fringes which the Mexicans were fastened to their garments. I read the precept in Numbers how Moses commanded us to fasten to have fringes on our garments and borders of blue and things like that. So they're keeping that custom, that commandment. But continuing on, a similarity of the manners of the customs of the Indian tribes far removed from the intro monarchies of Mexico and Peru, showing that there's a similarity between the so-called Mexican, the so-called Aztecs, and the so-called the Mayans, exactly, the Mayans, the Incas, and the so-called Indian tribes as well. But continuing on, the Indian tribes far removed from the central monarchies of Mexico and Peru to those of the Jews, which writers who were not Spaniards have noticed, such as celebrated Sir William Penn, who in his letter on the present state of America thus observed, the eyes are black like Jews, they reckon by moons. And just going into the scriptures again, when you go into the word moon, that goes into the word month, which goes into, how in the biblical time period. Of course, we got a calendar today, but in the biblical time period, how you recognize, the coming into the new month, things of that nature. But they reckon by which that's an ancient Hebrew custom as well. So just going to show that the Northern Kingdom is keeping these Hebrew customs as said in 2 Esdras 13 and 42. Like I said, if they're not the Israelites, if they're not the Northern Kingdom, then who is? Continuing on, the eyes are black like Jews. They reckon by moons. They offer the first fruits. They have a feast of tabernacles. I mean, the feast of tabernacles, man. Like, who's keeping who outside the Israelites is really keeping the feast of tabernacles in truth and sincerity? Come on, man. The altar stands on 12 stones. I mean, come on, man. Continuing on, their mourning lasts a whole year. The customs of women are like those of the Jews, and the Jews is talking about the Southern Kingdom. If you, for y'all who don't know, their language is concise, masculine, full of energy, resembling the Hebrew. And ancient Paleo Hebrew is a very masculine, to the point, aggressive language. English is very soft. English is actually a very feminine language. Old school Paleo Hebrew, even Assyrian Hebrew as well, but old school Paleo Hebrew is a very aggressive, masculine, to the point, demonstrative, esque kind of language. And that's the language that the Northern Kingdom was speaking during that time that mimicked the language of the ancient Jews and things of that nature. So this is just showing that, the Northern Kingdom, aka the Mexicans, the Peruvians, the Native American Indians, the Venezuelans, the Colombians, the Brazilians, it's all the same people, man. There's really no difference. Now, of course, they're gonna look a little bit different now, but there's really no difference, between the so-called Indians and the Aztecs and the Mayans and the Incas. It's all the same people, man. Go ahead.
And one thing I just want to let brothers know, because people try to act like they want to make this a conspiracy, like all this information is recent and only existed like in the 1900s or like the late 1800s. I just want to read an account. It's been going. People have been knowing this long before. I'll just read it real quickly, and then actually, are you going to finish what you read, or are you done?
Yeah, I just got one.
Go ahead, and then I'll read what I'm going to read.
And real quick, a criminal Alistair asked, "What's the two books called?"
Oh, the two books are called I read it from three books. The one I'm reading from now is Mysteries of Ancient South America, and the other books are Lost Tribes and Promised Lands by Ronald Sanders, and then the other book is called
Lost Tribes and Promised Land.
Lost Tribes and Promised Lands, yeah. And the other book is called History of the American Indians by James Adair.
All right, bet.
I'll put them in the chat.
That's cool. I already did it, bro.
Oh, you did? I appreciate that. But I just wanted to get one account because it says they offer the first fruits. They have a feast of tabernacles. The altar stands on 12 stones. I just want to get a scripture. This is the book of Deuteronomy, the 16th chapter and the 12th verse. And thou shalt remember that thou was a bondman in Egypt, and thou shalt observe to do these statutes. Now, when you go back into this book, like I read a little bit earlier, in terms of the Hebrew, the Northern Kingdom keeping remembering their bondage in Egypt, remembering the Israelite bondage in Egypt, and keeping the statutes according to that bondage, going into in the book History of the American Indians by James Adair, goes into how the Northern Kingdom kept the Passover, man. Of course, we all know what the Passover is about, our deliverance from ancient Egypt. So I just wanted to get that real quick, just linking it all together. So this is Deuteronomy 16 and 12 once again. And thou shalt remember that thou wast a bondman in Egypt, and thou shalt observe to do these statutes. Thou shalt observe the Feast of Tabernacles 7 days, after thou hast gathered in thy corn and thy wine, and thou shalt rejoice in thy feast, thou and thy son and thy daughter and thy manservant, thy maidservant, and the Levite, the stranger, and that fatherless and that widow that are within thy gates. 7 days shalt thou keep a solemn feast unto the Lord thy power, in the place which the Lord shall choose, because the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all thine increase and all thy works of thine hands. Therefore thou shalt surely rejoice. Like I'm gonna get 17 too. 3 times a year shall all thy males appear before the Lord thy God, in the place which he shall choose, in the feast of unleavened bread, and in the feast of weeks, and in the feast of tabernacles, and they shall not appear before the Lord empty. So when it goes into this book, Mysteries of Ancient South America, it says they offer the first fruits. So offering the first fruits, they have the Feast of Tabernacle. So this is proven Deuteronomy 16th chapter right here, that old custom, and also proven in 2nd Esdras 13 and 42, where it goes to they'll keep the ways, basically they'll keep the ways of the Lord. I'm gonna just get the exact wording just real quick once again. And that they may keep their statutes. So these are our statutes, and these are the statutes of the Native Americans, proving that the Aboriginal Native Americans, the so-called Latinos, which is the same people, are the Israelites of the Bible. They're keeping the statutes and laws according to the Levitical law of Moses, man. In truth and sincerity, if they're not Israelites, I don't know what nation they come from, man, keeping these laws, statutes, commandments.
And real quick, I just want to build off of St. Digital said. He said, the only thing that makes me wonder about Native Americans and Mexicans is that the white man has gone pretty deep into their bloodline. I mean, bro, like at the end of the day, bro, you can't worry about that shit, bro. Like, you can sit here and be like, yeah. And don't get me wrong, bro. When I be walking around because I live in Houston, bro. So it's, Mexican. I mean, it's a lot of motherfucking Mexicans out here, nigga. It's Texas, nigga. And, at the end of the day, bro, I mean, bro, you can't worry about that shit, bro. Like, that's the one thing that a lot of brothers try to do is, I'm not saying you're trying to play the most high, bro, but it's like, bro, when you got the spirit, bro, when you got the spirit of Yahweh Shai working through you, you got to understand the Most High is going to bring the people in the spirit who are Israelites around you. So regardless of how the appearance look and all this other shit, bro, like, you can't worry about that shit. You know what I'm saying? A lot of niggas get caught up on this race shit or this appearance, bro. And at the end of the day, that's what Yahweh Shai coming on the scene. Like, that's one of the main reasons why he was here, bro. Like, to graft them in, the lost sheep. I mean, bro, like, they, a lot of niggas don't understand this too and think like, oh, they don't got it as bad as me. Nigga, no, you say you're not worried about it, just makes you wonder. For sure, bro. But I understand just in reference to the other brothers and shit, it's like them niggas gotta look in the mirror and look, damn, nigga, I look like an abomination, nigga. Like, like me, I could grow my hair like, damn, nigga, my ancient forefathers, this is how I look like, nigga. Okay, these niggas are like, damn, nigga, I look like an albino. Damn, my fucking great grandfather fucked a dog looking motherfucker. Like, no disrespect, bro. YouTube and all that other bullshit gonna get me. I don't give a fuck. But I mean, be real, they got a curse on their own body, my nigga. Like, at least me personally, like, I ain't no black woman where my head is bald. Like, nigga, I don't have any physical curses on me, bro. Like, at least that I can't, like, look at off the top of my head. My beard don't be growing like that. But outside of that, it's like, nigga, I look ready, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, feel good in the mirror, So a lot of brothers gotta get past that shit, man.
Exactly, bro. But I just wanted to just round out what I was saying real quick. I just basically just bringing out accounts from 3 different texts that are showing that the Northern Kingdom, they're showing that the Aboriginal Americans kept the Passover, the Feast of Tabernacles, and wore fringes on their garments. All ancient law, statutes, commandments given, to Moses via the Most High. So they were keeping the law, statutes, commandments. This proves that the Native Americans and the so-called Latinos, like I said, which are the Native Americans, were those 10 tribes that came over to the land of Ashereth.
And real quick, bro, when you said first things first, you said I think that's why America is trying hard to make white men like black women. They're trying to clean out the Israelite blood. You weren't here earlier. The bloodline is through the father, bro. So when you said
what he's saying
That's
is
what he's saying. Yeah.
what he's saying is he's trying to, because at the end of the day, women have to give birth. So what he's saying is like by having more black women with white men,
okay.
you have more like non-Israelites, basically.
Well, yeah, I answered this question. You said at least maternity. I mean, I feel you, bro. But I mean, unless they kill off all the men, like I said, but that'll never happen, bro. So
yeah, exactly.
the Most High will never allow that to happen. Bro.
But he's just talking about in terms of like bringing.
I get what you're saying. I read it wrong, but my fault. But yeah, and then I know one of y'all brothers say you want to make one more account, then I'm gonna switch it to the other.
Yeah. So Swint can go ahead and finish, and I'll just read.
No, I'm done. I was just saying that basically that those are just showing 3 accounts of 3 different books that the Aboriginal American, the so-called Latinos and Native American Indians were, or how to classify them today, which they're all just the Aboriginal Americans. All those 10 tribes that were delivered to keep the law, statutes, commandments in the land of Asareth, basically, going into the land where man never dwelt. They were keeping the Passover, the Feast of Tabernacles, and wore fringes on their garments. So those are old ancient Israelite, customs that the Northern Kingdom that the ancient American Indians were keeping, proving that that was the Northern Kingdom tribes that came over here. I mean, that's undeniable proof.
I got you. I got you.
That's undeniable proof. And if you are a so-called black man, a brother who doesn't want to recognize that, honestly, you're just wallowing in your own pride. That's going to lead you to destruction because you don't have a brotherly spirit on you.
Okay,
Right.
I got you. And the one thing I was just going to read quickly, because the point I was trying to make, because Swint brought up all those books, and just to like go against the hypothetical. Well, how do you trust those men? Are they trusted by quote unquote scholars, or those are conspiracy theories? Because there were recently all this black people are Israelites or Native American Israelites. This new kind of wave or doctrine that's going around, this bunch of nonsense. But to let you know, like, there's nothing new under the sun. The concept of Native Americans being quote unquote Israelites, that was known even in other time periods as well. And I wanted to just read this real quick. This is just from a little article I found online. In his book, Origin of the American Indians, Lee Huddleston details European efforts to reconcile the new discoveries with the accepted religious axioms, especially from the mid-16th century onwards. Spanish scholars first tried to ascribe the origin of the Indians to China, Carthage, the East Indies, the lost continents of Atlantis, and even the biblical Solomonic kingdom of Ophir. The first serious claim that they were descendants of the lost Jewish tribes was made in 1567 by the Dutch theologian Johannes Luminius. In later years, the theory spread to Spanish and Portuguese scholars as well. They identified America with the biblical Azareth mentioned in, it says the New Testament, but really apocryphal version of the book of Esdras, which was ascribed to Columbus as well. To Hebrew speakers, Azareth sounds like a jumbled up of Eretz Acheret, which means another country, and is mentioned in the Old Testament as a place of banishment for the sinning Jews. And if you want that understanding, it's Deuteronomy, the 29th chapter, verse 28. When you go into the actual language, that's where that term is used. Continuing on, English and other North European scholars also tackled the questions of the origin of Native Americans, but the turning point for many of them came, according to Huddleston, in the wake of a testimony offered by a Jew named Aaron Levi, who arrived in Amsterdam in 1644. Levy. Levy recounted being told by his Indian captors in what is now Ecuador that they were secret Hebrews who would soon drive the Spaniards from their lands. His story was picked up by the preeminent Jewish spiritual leader at the time, Rabbi Manasseh ben Israel, who became the chief proponent of the Indians are Jews theory and wrote a famous book called Hope of Israel about it. Ben Israel, who was widely respected by Christian scholars, tried to use the discovery of Jews in the new continents in his unsuccessful bids to persuade Oliver Cromwell to allow Jews to return to England 400 years after they were first banished. Only when they are in England and France, he reasoned, would Jews be dispersed throughout all the lands, thus enabling the arrival of the Messiah, be he Christian or Jews. Continuing on, I'll get to the last point I was going to make. The American Revolution in 1776 did not put an end to the efforts to discover the origins of Native Americans. On the contrary, the belief that they were descendants of the lost Jewish tribes reached a new peak following the War of 1812. As Dr. Iran Shalev of Haifa University recounts in his book, American Zion, with the publication of A Star in the West, or a humble attempt to discover the long lost 10 tribes of Israel, preparatory to their return to their beloved city, Jerusalem, by Elias Boninot. It became the bestseller during the time of the Second Great Awakening, the Protestant revival movement of the early 19th century. One more thing, Mordecai Emanuel Noah's famous efforts to set up the Jewish homeland Ararat near Niagara Falls in upstate New York was also based on a glorious reunification of the new Jews on the continent with their long-lost brethren from the Indian tribes, and the greatest manifestation of the belief that Indians were biblical Hebrews, though technically not from the 10 tribes, is contained whatever. It's talking about the Book of Mormon, so I'll stop there. I'll stop there. And one more thing in the article as well, it mentions what each tribe was based on, like comparing the tribe to like a Native American tribe. So it said Reuben were the Black Seminole Indians, Gad were the Cheney, Sioux or Apache, Asher is the Incas. They're from Colombia to Uruguay. Naphtali were Native Americans who were lived around Argentina to Chile. Manasseh were in Cuba. Simeon is blank, I don't know why. It says Issachar were the Aztecs. Zebulun were the Mayans. And Joseph / Ephraim were the Arawak, the Taino, the Barracuda Indians. And yeah, that's just all. The only reason I brought this out is because at the end of the day, like, we should just appreciate the time that we're in now, but there's nothing new under the sun. I read earlier that one book about the quote unquote Native Americans being Israelites. That was a bestseller in the 1800s. So imagine you're a quote unquote Native Black man living in that time period, and you read that book and your spirit is touched. And then you want to follow the law, statutes, and commandments, you know? So, like, there's always been ways for brothers to understand this truth.
Con.
That's true. Con, absolutely. Absolutely.
Facts. Hey man, it's as simple as this, man. Don't, for anybody out there, never try to think too hard right now. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of information out there, a lot of important information out there, but just always be grateful that you get it. Especially now, early and shit, as while shit is still kind of normal, because shit's only gonna get worse and worse and worse, and people gonna get more and more confused about what's really going on and identities and things of that nature. That's why they're trying to crack. I know somebody asked this question in the Discord a little while back. They asked, why are they coming after critical race theory? And it's like, the reason why they're coming after critical race theory is because they're trying to destroy any conversations about race.
Yeah, exactly.
So if they destroy, and this is the Republican thing, this ain't a Democratic thing. If the Republicans destroy the critical race theory, pretty much every conversation after that is going to be considered critical race theory, which means you're going to get banned big time. All this shit that we talking about right now, that shit going to be over and done with. We're just going to basically start the famine of the word, man, because you got to destroy the concept of race first, because that's the foundation of the whole Bible. What term did you bring up, Malak? Israelitish?
Israelitish, yeah.
We might have to steal that. You know what I'm saying? We might have to bring that into 2021. The Bible is Israelitish. God damn it. You know what I'm saying? It ain't religious. Go ahead, man.
Oh no, I was gonna say, and to think about it, man, the whole reason why they want to get rid of race in the first place is just to stop us from figuring out who we are. And it's because we are, it's very important. We are the chosen people of God, and they'll do anything to stop that.
Exactly. It's to promote confusion. But again, like, the main reason why I brought that out is just so brothers can understand, like, the reason why you'd be like, wow, this information existed since the 1500s, the 1600s, the 1800s, and you never heard about it. Thank the public school system. That's the whole point of public education. So you don't hear shit like this.
Or at least their public education.
Because I'll read you this. Even though more people can read now, the people who read back then were more well read.
Exactly.
Thank the Rothschilds too.
Yeah, exactly. And Rockefellers as well.
Yeah, it's their system. You know what I'm saying? I know CLJ brought it up between post-Civil War, so 1870s to about 19 10s, 20s was like the worst time for our people because there was so much fake ass information out there just being pumped out there to the masses because a lot of the demographics that we see today, that's when they came. They came
Thanks.
during that time period. So they had to condition not only so-called blacks that were already here, but the new, like the Asians, the what do you call them, so-called Mexicans, whatever, that were coming into
A lot
the
of
country.
the white Europeans that came.
Yeah, all the
in that
motherfuckers
period
that
as
were
well.
coming into that time period, they had to condition, which is another thing about the slavery and all this other shit. I mean, as we already know, 90% of the so-called white people were not here during that time period, basically. So
Exactly.
that destroys that narrative already. But they had to condition the people with Willie Lynch letter, blah, all that stupid shit, telling so-called black men are brutes, things of that nature. Like they had to condition society to do that, so that way society will accept the lynchings, i.e., the burnings on the cross, the hanging, which is just an allusion to Tammuz, but you get the point. They had to condition society in doing that through false information, all these stupid ass books, things of that nature, and that's what most of our people don't realize. The real oppression is of the mind. You know what I'm saying? Once you calibrate the mind and the soul, the body just follows. So most people don't know this stuff is because a lot of this stuff is new to us. It's not brand new. It's new to us due to the access of information through technology, which is why it's such a blessing to be in this time.
Facts. Knowledge increasing, things of that nature. It's an extreme blessing to be in this time where we're privy to so much information and knowledge. We just gotta have the spirit to discern whether it's of the Most High or if it's of Mammon, as the scriptures say. Try the spirit,
Exactly.
things of that nature. But I wanted to get one more precept just to round out the point for a lot of you, pro blackity black, brothers who hate your brothers of the Northern Kingdom. Hey, you don't love the Most High, man. That's not me speaking. That's the scriptures.
Yeah.
This is the book. Hey, it is what it is. It's the book of 1 John and the 20th verse. And the 20th, it's like the book of 1 John, the 4th chapter and the 20th verse. If a man say, I love the Most High and hateth his brother, he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother whom he hath seen, how can he love the Most High whom he hath not seen? I mean, the precept speak for itself. If you hate your brother, you are a liar and you do not love the Most High. So a lot of you pro blackity black, a lot of you Black Lives Matter Israelites, a lot of you quote unquote black Jews. Hey, you got Israelites out there with their fists in the air, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of crazy.
Oh yeah, you're right. I did see some few Israelites trying to quote I believe it's the curses when they talked about destroying the statues and this. I'm like, what the fuck? Shut up.
Exactly.
Hey,
you got
a thing. Anything can be a thing, bro.
Exactly. You got Black Panther Israelites out there, man. Like
what's that group called? Not fucking around.
The NFAC, the Not Fucking Around Coalition.
The
Grandmaster J shit.
Twice. Ain't that the epitome of you'll die when you'll die by the sword when no one's chasing you? Something like that. I know that verse.
Yeah. That's in
Niggas shot themselves twice.
Yeah.
Saying digital, I can answer your question. You see, after slave times, the slaves they love George Washington so much. They decided to take his life.
Hell no. They very well could be Denzel's like long lost uncle. You never know.
Yeah. But hey, bro, I'm gonna be honest. I know we can do the other side, but I'm gonna be real, bro. I'm tired in the motherfucker.
I think we covered what we needed to cover.
I'm gonna say, what was the other side? I don't even.
I didn't side.
Niggas did another live earlier, bro. I'm tired in the motherfucker.
I mean, what else did you want to talk about?
We was gonna talk about how Ephraim is jealous of Judah, but it's like, nigga, none of us.
Are they?
I mean, that's what the scripture says, nigga.
Oh, for real?
That's what Isaiah 11:13 says, bro. But
I ain't never, you know what I'm saying? I'm in Latino country, basically. You know what I'm saying? Everybody be treating me
good.
They
I mean, bro, nobody's gonna admit that. Nobody's gonna admit they're jealous of you, bro. Like,
I feel what you're saying.
And I'm gonna be honest. I mean, it's pretty easy to understand. I mean, Judah, niggas want to be the head tribe. Judah's where Yahushua came from, David came from, Solomon. Judah, he the top tribe, bro. So I mean, it's just evident.
Yeah, you're
And I
right.
mean,
Because
Judah's the nigga that can fuck anybody bitch pretty much.
Let's just be real. Let's be real. Let's be real.
and also too, bro,
Let's
like
be real about
no
it.
disrespect to the Northern Kingdom brothers, but the most gifted niggas look like niggas, bro. I'm just being real. Bro.
yeah, but you know the
You know?
story about Jeroboam, how he was desperate to make sure the other 10 tribes did not behave like the
They didn't go back to
Jews
Jerusalem.
under
Yeah.
Solomon. So
Yeah.
he completely destroyed the whole knowledge of the Most High. So
Wicked
that
ass
makes
nigga.
sense.
Wicked ass nigga.
Wicked ass nigga.
Then they were so desperate, but the Most High knew that. He knew that he was so desperate to be a leader that he wasn't going to be a good one.
Yeah, that was the whole point.
Yeah.
I mean, what he thought was true because you know how Israel, they would have been like, they would have repented, they would have asked the Most High for forgiveness, and they would have killed that nigga.
Exactly. Yeah, I think he was afraid, wasn't he? He was afraid at some point. So he did. So I forgot what he did. He like stripped them.
What he did was he basically rebuilt the golden calf. So basically, he got Israel to worship Baal, and then he got rid of the Levitical priesthood and made like regular people priests. That's why the tribe of Levi ended up becoming a part of the Southern Kingdom, because they were kicked out the priesthood basically in the north.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, but yeah, bro. I mean,
and there's also a doctrine out there. I don't know if any of you brothers have heard about this new Latino only Israelite doctrine.
You got that. That's crazier than black only.
It
is, bro. It is.
Because Paul say you a bastard of us and quote unquote white man.
you found out you was a descendant of Israel like 2 seconds ago. Now all of a sudden Israelite only. Oh, okay.
Latino only Israelites. Yep, you got that out there now too.
And nigga, we gotta gross them niggas. Dog, right?
But it's as simple as this, just to answer the.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, brother.
It's as simple as this, just to answer the question, the overall question: why does Judah keep vexing Ephraim? Why does Ephraim continue to be jealous of Judah? It's culture, like you said. Until Yahushua comes back, that understanding, that true understanding to a completion of what is correct and why it's correct, will never be there. So we will continue to, I wouldn't say make shit up, but continue to conflict each other, even if one side is right, one side is wrong. It won't matter. We'll just continue to go at each other.
And to be honest, bro, at this point, like, I know we talk about the beef between Southern and Northern and Ephraim and Judah, but I mean, it's not really even that at that point, because we don't recognize ourselves as that. You know what I'm saying? For the most part. Like, even true. Like me being a kid, like my mom, she's from Liberia, but she'd be like, these American blacks so stupid.
I know. Bro, like it'd be more beef.
Hispanic people think the same thing. They'd be like,
it'd be more, honestly, it'd be more beef between ruddy Israelites against ruddy Israelites, bro. We being honest.
No, but what I'm saying, that's not the point I was making. The point I was making is the beef has to deal with more like where you're from nationally. It doesn't really matter, like, because again, like the Israelite, most of our people don't recognize ourselves as that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, you're Mexican. Like, I don't like Puerto Ricans, or Puerto Ricans don't like niggas, or niggas don't like. You know what you get the point I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Even in the Northern Kingdom, they don't like each other at all either. Man.
You got a beef between
Puerto Ricans. Mexicans hate Puerto Ricans. Cubans hate Mexicans.
To be honest, nigga, Africans hate Africans, nigga. Let's be real.
Yeah, bro.
I know, right?
Yeah. Shit, you got what are those two countries that next to each other?
Nigeria and Liberia.
No, it's Dominican and Dominican Republic and Haiti.
Haiti. Yeah, they don't fuck with each other.
They don't fuck with each other at all, bro.
They on the same fucking island.
Same island.
Well, Brandon, did you mean like Liberia and like Sierra Leone or some shit, or Ghana or some shit?
What?
No, because I thought you mentioned the West Coast or some shit.
I said Nigeria and Liberia.
Oh, Nigeria ain't next to Liberia. That's why I was confused.
Oh, for real? They got the same names.
I know. They're not near each other, though.
Oh, for real.
Yeah, Liberia is closer to like
Sierra Leone, Ghana, what's it called? Benin, places like that.
Yeah, the Ivory Coast, countries like
that. I see what you're saying.
And just to piggyback on that point, they don't even understand that during the slave trade, most of the so-called blacks were deported out of America to places like West Africa so they could get brought up to Europe. Like, it's just, there's too much nuance for you to
there's a lot of nuance to it.
To just say one or the other. Like, it's not that one-sided. So it's just, But whatever. Most people are gonna be confused and getting.
Yeah, no, most people don't look shit up. They don't enter history. They're not like. That's what I noticed.
They don't even understand about the ships. Like, how the hell they get over here? Carnival Cruise? Like, come on, dog. Ain't no ship like that built like that back then. That's the only way they could have gotten that many people over here in that amount of time. Like,
where they say the quote unquote 1 million people from the West Coast,
like millions of people from. Just stop.
To be honest, it was probably like in the hundreds of thousands, if even.
Exactly, and most of them people died on the ships during the raids.
Yeah.
Just madness.
And just out of what's the word I'm looking for? Like pestilence via the conditions.
Exactly.
You know?
The conditions were nowhere near suitable. Like,
yeah, nigga, a lot of them niggas probably got scurvy.
Exactly. Like, I don't know what type of ships y'all think these niggas were on back in the 1400s, 1500s. Like, come on, dog. Y'all crazy.
And what's even crazy about that? You got a doctrine out there from these Aboriginal only Hebrew Israelites.
Oh my god!
That the slave trade never existed.
What? So Chief Tomahawk saying that we are the true children or whatever.
No, they say that 98% of African Americans are Native Americans.
Oh, Native Americans.
God damn, 98%.
How can the slave trade? They had a native slave trade as well, where they took natives and brought them to Europe, right?
Yeah, I think they brought them to like the West Coast. They deported them from America to like West Coast of Africa to bring them up to Europe for the kings.
When you get the full understanding, you know how they always say Africans were selling each other?
Yeah.
It's even deeper than that. Israelites were selling each other because we were in rulership in Europe.
Thank you.
Exactly. We were selling each other, basically.
We were off as hell.
And then the white man came and swooped in and said, "Hey, nigga, I'm just reaping the benefits from y'all niggas."
Exactly. Thank you, D-Ben. Like, come on, man. It's not that simple. I was going to say something.
A lot of bugged out doctrines, bro. A lot of bugged out
because
doctrines.
a brother actually had to correct me because I thought, what's his name? Is it Ferdinand, Archduke Ferdinand, and Queen Isabella?
Yeah,
they were called quote unquote black people because a person showed me the Mayan depiction of the kings, and it was all black men. And you see his ass at the end looking like a black man. I was like, oh shit.
So they all were.
So they were black at that time period too.
Yeah,
so that means the niggas from Spain coming over were niggas too. You know what I'm saying?
Because of the division between the classes, they were so thrown off. It just got to the point where everybody was just jealous of each other, bro. That them curses came back, and it just they were fighting too much. That's what people don't understand. They really think white people so black people how they didn't have no rulership at the time. They had no power. They were still under so-called black people, and that's what happened. They were using the so-called Caucasians, that little first wave that came in during the time of diseases and things of that nature. They were using them to do their bidding. Like it wasn't no oh, they were kings and all this stuff, and they also had all the soldiers to kidnap all the quote unquote black people and ship
no,
them
the niggas were just doing business with each other.
Yeah, it's like the so-called black people were so jealous of each other that they were willing to use anybody as pawns.
Well, it wasn't even jealousy like that. I mean, at the end of the day, because like people get caught up on too much of the black term. It was just business. You know what I'm saying?
They were just off as hell. They had so many different cultures and belief systems at the time that they were just off as hell. They were Israelites, but they were all off as hell.
Off as hell. Because you have the Catholics who like hated the quote unquote Jews because like you're not following Catholicism, but they knew they were the descendants of the book as well. So they're
now thinking about it, the white people back then were the boule, and the so-called black people today are the boule of the white people. Like they were the so-called white people back then were the boule because they were advisors to the kings who were so-called black. So it is what it is.
Calm, bro. Calm. a lot of misguided history. A lot of bullshit.
Out
there,
but we would have a lot of crybabies if we if we even said half of this shit.
Facts.
But yeah, bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm about to get off this shit, man.
Yeah, I can tell you just kind of just done.
We did it back to back today, bro.
Yeah, I'm sorry, bro. There's been a lot of shit.
Howdy, you used up all your energy in the last one, nigga.
Yeah, but you should have cussed
It
him
was
out.
at that 3-hour-long fucking ADT meeting, bro. I'm sorry. I did
That shit
DoorDash.
was 3 hours long, nigga.
God
Nigga got
damn.
there at 10:30, left at.
Hey, actually, should we just end the stream? Because let's not get off into a massive tangent about what niggas were doing today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
Hey, look, man. I want to give all praises to the Most High. Thanks for giving us this opportunity to edify you, brothers. Don't hate your brother, because if you hate your brother, then the spirit of the Most High is not in you. You know what I'm saying? Remember John 3:16, but not like how the Christians do. You know, but y'all got any closing statements?
Hey, but
yeah, go ahead, brother.
Oh, I was about to say, just to address St. Digital's point, the slaves were brought to Arabs. There's actually, you can look up quote unquote black Hebrew Israelites in India, in parts of China. Like niggas are everywhere. You just like I said, there's a lot of history they don't teach you.
Exactly.
Sir.
Yes, sir. I just want to
Any
give
last statements?
I just want to give all the praises, glory, and the honor unto Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai Bashim Kakwadash. Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai brought the thumb to all the brothers on the panel and the brothers that watched. And Lord will, this was edifying. And hopefully we cleared up some understanding about, the origin of the Northern Kingdom, and proved through, undeniable proof, that the Northern Kingdom is the Aboriginal, Native Americans. And I think it's pretty plain as day. But if you can't get it, it's because the Heavenly Father has blinded you for destruction. So it is what it is. Lord, what this was edifying, and shalom.
Exactly. And actually, one more quick thing. There's a book y'all brothers can recommend. It's by what's his name, Ivan Sertima, I believe. Read. It's called "They Came Before Columbus: The Black Presence in Early America." I'll give you a lot of details as well. And Babylon to Timbuktu.
Just to make a point about that too, if you actually look up like real ancient pictures of Aboriginal Americans,
they look like niggas, bro.
They look like niggas, man. Like the real like you look at some of like the Seminole Indians and the who like D-Ben read in the article, who are the Reubenites and some of the Gadites and the certain Native Indian tribes and things like that. You look at them, honestly, the only difference is the hair texture. That's it.
And you know how they fool you a lot of times? Even the hair texture will be the same, but because of like how they dressed, you might be looking at a picture of a Native American, you'll think it's a quote unquote African. That's how they'll fool you sometimes as well.
True. That's true.
Yeah, if you stuck down that rabbit hole, yeah.
African
and
that's not to say that, of course, you just want to round that because I know a nigga will take that and run. That's not to say that brothers who don't look quote unquote black, who are of Native American or Latino ancestry, in terms of how the world will view it, are not Israelites as well. But we're just making the point to show that when you actually go look up ancient pictures of Native Americans, they look just like niggas today.
Yep.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, we're more mixed up than those brothers were today, at their time. Because, they had been that land basically isolated for the most part.
Facts.
Yeah, bro. If y'all got anything else y'all want to add, man?
Yeah, man. Hey, once again, all praise to the Most High, man. Like I always say, it's the best round table on YouTube, man.
Yes, sir.
Why?
Yes, sir.
Because we focus on being holy. These other live streams only focus on being hoes. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I can't say all that, but for the most part,
gotta trademark that shit, nigga.
I'm saying, damn it. Yeah, this might be some promo, but fuck it. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing but holy people over here.
Hey, true that. Holy, not hoes, nigga.
You know what I'm saying? Don't be a hoe, be holy. You better look up the term holy.
When you believe in that black Israelite only, you a hoe.
You a hoe.
Hey, man, I appreciate y'all coming on. We're gonna do one tomorrow. It might be signs of the time because these niggas talking about V-card passports and niggas
V-card bracelet
in Iraq, Syria, and all type of crazy shit with this rainbow, nations and all this other shit. A lot of shit going on. So we might scratch the day in the life of the Israelite. We might do sign of the times part 3. So I'll keep y'all posted. And yeah, bro, we'll catch y'all tomorrow, man. Peace.
Peace.